from the oldest city in the USA, St. Augustine tonight, with our guests,
actor Lee Weaver,
artist Moliere Dimanche, musical guests, and our own Sam Pacetti. And your host, Jorge Rivera.
Hello, I'm Grant Paxton. Welcome to Foxtrot Creative Studio. Let me show you what we do.
We've been in business for 3 years now. We can create different graphics for you, ads, mailers, flyers, business cards, logos, and even websites. And we're also a printing company as well. So we can create for you the design you need and then the final product. We can usually get you with a design, we can get you a brand new business card in less than 2 days.
At St. Augustine Distillery, we're part of a new generation of American craft distillers. Family owned and operated, we are committed to making the best possible spirits using local agriculture. Our distillers make everything by hand, from mashing and blending to distilling and tasting each and every batch. We distill and bottle everything we sell, making sure that the spirits are just right before barreling and aging. Bottled by real people, we love showing our guests not only what we do, but why we do it. We're passionate about educating our guests to not only what goes into each bottle, but how to make the best possible cocktails. We love St. Augustine, and thanks to your purchases, we're able to give back to the community and help local organizations each and every day.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
St. Augustine Distillery, handmade with pride in the nation's oldest city.
In her special way, and I just have to say, in my life, I love that woman, 'cause she's more than I deserve, and she gets me where I live. I'll give all I have to give. I'm talking about that hummingbird.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here we are again, yes. And of course, we always start this show by thanking all the people who sponsor us, like Foxtrot Studios, 57 Treasury, the furniture by Garrett Brothers Home Decor, and our caterer today, of course, is Tropicali, that nice bright orange food truck across from the Armory on St. Marcos. For the guests, you'll enjoy some of their chicken riblets that are absolutely amazing. I always like to thank them, and so many other people helped us. I mean, the Corazon is here. Thank the gods. You know, it's really good to know they're there. You know, I'm someone who's very attached to gadgets. I love gadgets, and I love new inventions, and I love all these sort of things that are new. No, I'm not looking for the next thing that cooks an egg. I think there are too many of those gadgets. But for me, I saw a dryer made by General Electric, and this dryer works with ultrasonic waves. So not only will it will dry your clothes in half the time, and it only consumes 30% of the energy that you'd use. And I said, that's a wonderful gadget. And those are the things that I love to see, because I say, wow, wouldn't it be, you know, now how does the ultrasound actually dries your clothes? That's above my my pay grade here. I wouldn't know. But another thing I saw was in France, this great idea. And let's remember that France just went through a terrorist attack. Sadly, our love and prayers go to the French people. Many people don't realize my son is half French, and he lives in France with his mother. And he always comes here and spends a wonderful time with me in Florida, though he was born right here in St. Augustine at Flagler Hospital. But he talks with English with an accent. It's very hard. We also want to thank our French brothers and sisters for helping us in our revolution. And if not, if the French had not helped us in the revolution, probably I would speak to you with a funny English accent. You know, my name would be Ian Rivera here, and talking about Her Majesty herself. But because the French came in, I'm an American, and that's very nice to know. And also thank the French for their lovely Statue of Liberty. Wow, that's a lady right there. Viva la France, fraternité, solidarité. But in France, the really cool thing is they have an election coming up this Sunday. And one guy, one of the candidates, what he did was brilliant. He created a stage with these special lights and these special cameras. And he spoke at 7 places at the same time. Not on a screen, but as a hologram. He showed up as a hologram. And if you see him in the other 7 cities, you see a man standing in the stage talking to the people. Now, if you don't like politicians, if you throw a tomato to that hologram, it'll just go right through him. So if you really want the tomato to splat his suit, then you'd have to find the place where the physical transmission is being done to see it on all the 7 other cities. But I thought that was brilliant. Instead of repeating the same message here and there and over there, you actually you create a hologram of yourself, something like out of Star Wars. All right, everybody, we're going to get our show started, and we're going to come to these messages, and we'll be right back.
At St. Augustine Distillery, we're part of a new generation of American craft distillers. Family owned and operated, we are committed to making the best possible spirits using local agriculture. Our distillers make everything by hand, from mashing and blending to distilling and tasting each and every batch. We distill and bottle everything we sell, making sure that the spirits are just right before barreling and aging. Bottled by real people, we love showing our guests not only what we do, but why we do it. We're passionate about educating our guests to not only what goes into each bottle, but how to make the best possible cocktails. We love St. Augustine, and thanks to your purchases, we're able to give back to the community and help local organizations each and every day.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
St. Augustine Distillery, handmade with pride in the nation's oldest city.
Our ingredients are mostly natural. It's palm oil, coconut oil, olive oil. We put cocoa butter, shea butter, and real silk in our soaps. Also, it's something that's pleasing to the eye, and you enjoy using it. Come visit us at Antoinette's Bathhouse.
Hello, I'm Grant Paxton. Welcome to Foxtrot Creative Studio. Let me show you what we do.
We've been in business for 3 years now. We can create different graphics for you, ads, mailers, flyers, business cards, logos, and even websites. And we're also a printing company as well. So we can create for you the design you need and then the final product. We can usually get you with a design, we can get you a brand new business card in less than 2 days.
Over here, over here. What's happening?
That feeling, only better. Turbo. Standard in a 150 horsepower, fun to drive Volkswagen Jetta.
All right, everybody, thank you. We're back from messages, and you know, something we love to do, is to go into the city and take a microphone and ask people questions. So we went into the city about evening time. It's starting to get a little dark. People are looking for dinner places, and we asked them a question. The question was, I'm not going to say what the question is. You're going to see it in the magazine, but I thought it's hilarious, all right? So the question we're asking is, what is gluten? Gluten is a word made of 2 proteins, the beginning of one, the ending of another, creating the word gluten. So some people have really bad effects because of the gluten, which is the chewy, stretchy part of bread. It's in most flours and grains that you use. So the question is, do you know what is gluten?
I eat anything.
It's an ingredient that's in pastas and breads, and some people have allergic reactions to it. So it's bad for the digestive system for some people who have an allergic reaction to it.
I gotta say, not really. I know everybody's all hyped up about it. It's some kind of something in the bread. Who knows? I'm not a healthy person, as you can see anyway, so you're asking the wrong guy.
There's a lot of products that are gluten-free this, gluten-free that. So the question is, do you know what gluten is?
It's a wheat product.
He says it's a wheat product, and what do you say?
I would say the same thing. I know it's found in wheat.
Do you know what gluten is?
I guess it's not too sure. I'm not too sure. No.
If you see a product that says no gluten, do you buy it or you don't buy it?
I don't buy it. I like bread.
Well, my mom already told us that it's a wheat, so yeah. So apparently it's a wheat.
All right. There's all these products that are gluten-free. So our question is, what is gluten?
It's the stuff in bread that makes it bready.
It's the stuff that goes in dough to give it some more nutrition, I think.
So question is, what is gluten?
Gluten is a substance, it's similar to, it's a wheat type substance that a lot of people are allergic to. They have celiac disease and stuff like that that are associated with gluten. So, and a lot of times, children have it much worse than adults do. And it really affects their digestive system. They can't eat gluten food. And I'll tell you, it's not good for your brain either, because if you look at a book called The Brain, the brain, it has to do with your mental.
It's Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
It can what?
It can cause Alzheimer's. It
Yeah.
can make it.
I mean, people that stay off of grain their brains are much better long term. Yeah.
See, we eat lots of grain.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right.
I don't know.
Okay.
Gluten. I don't know what gluten is.
Wow. It's like in wheat, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, it's in pasta and all like wheat products, everything that comes from.
Gluten is the bacteria in wheat that makes everything like in your body just go wrong.
I think it's some sort of it's something that's in food that gives it maybe like protein or something, maybe a form of protein that people are allergic to.
I guess it's something in bread, something to deal with the wheat and bread. The weed, I'm thinking, am I right or wrong?
Oh my, that's really funny that you asked. I was watching this thing on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and did you see that?
No, I didn't.
But Scott Disick was all like, oh, do we even know what gluten is? Anyways, I don't really know what it is. I think it's like bread products.
Okay.
I think the same. I have no clue what it is, to be honest. It's a byproduct of, or not a byproduct, but it's wheat. Wheat's in it. And I guess it's a byproduct of wheat. Am I wrong? Am I right?
Wheat? Isn't it wheat?
How about you?
Isn't it a protein? It's a protein found in bread.
Do you know what gluten is?
No.
In any industry, the best known product is the one most frequently purchased. Think of industry leaders like Coke, Nike, and Starbucks. It's true in real estate too. The most successful realtors have strong personal brands. In fact, branding is especially important in the real estate industry. The National Association of Realtors tells us that reputation is the most important factor when choosing an agent. And another word for reputation is brand. It's not who you know, it's who knows you.
At Martinez & Associates, we can help you with many things. Number one is income for life throughout your retirement, which is very important. Number two would be Medicare choices, which are very confusing. Number three is a legacy for your loved ones. And finally, keeping you independent throughout retirement. My name is Tuli Martinez. Call this number. Y hablamos español.
That was a very interesting little magazine. So let's get this show started. We have a wonderful cocktail of entertainment for you today. We have Lee Weaver, the actor. We have Moliere Dimanche II, the artist. And our musical guest, the one and only Sam Pacetti. And we're gonna leave you with some of his music right now.
Special way, and I just have to say, in my life, I love that woman, 'cause she's more than I deserve, and she gets me where I live. I'll give all I have to give. I'm talking about that hummingbird.
In any industry, the best known product is the one most frequently purchased. Think of industry leaders like Coke, Nike, and Starbucks. It's true in real estate too. The most successful realtors have strong personal brands. In fact, branding is especially important in the real estate industry. The National Association of Realtors tells us that reputation is the most important factor when choosing an agent. And another word for reputation is brand. It's not who you know, it's who knows you.
At St. Augustine Distillery, we're part of a new generation of American craft distillers. Family owned and operated, we are committed to making the best possible spirits using local agriculture. Our distillers make everything by hand, from mashing and blending to distilling and tasting each and every batch. We distill and bottle everything we sell, making sure that the spirits are just right before barreling and aging. Bottled by real people, we love showing our guests not only what we do, but why we do it. We're passionate about educating our guests to not only what goes into each bottle, but how to make the best possible cocktails. We love St. Augustine, and thanks to your purchases, we're able to give back to the community and help local organizations each and every day.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
St. Augustine Distillery, handmade with pride in the nation's oldest city.
At Martinez & Associates, we can help you with many things. Number one is income for life throughout your retirement, which is very important. Number two would be Medicare choices, which are very confusing. Number three is a legacy for your loved ones. And finally, keeping you independent throughout retirement. My name is Tuli Martinez. Call this number y hablamos español.
So we're back with our first guest, Lee Weaver. Thank you. It's great to have you on the show. I mean, I see you performing in so many places, and I see the type of plays you do. And so the reason we have this show is because a lot of people see a lot of the people that come to the show, but know very little about them. So starting with you, what is your full name there, Mr. Lee Weaver?
My full name, oh my goodness. It's been so long since I've used Leon that I'm not sure, but it's Leon Foster Weaver.
Oh, wow.
Well, I just go by Lee Weaver.
All right. And tell, where were you born, Lee?
Upstate New York. Now, most folks think that's Poughkeepsie or something, but I mean upstate near Niagara Falls in the Buffalo area of western New York. Way back in, well, when the Earth's crust was just starting to cool. It was 14 years ago.
Uh-huh. And tell us, we know you for your theater, so how did you get involved with that art form?
Well, I guess I was a ham from the get-go. I remember performing in various venues as a kid, and Elvis Presley, amateur hour kinds of things, and then the next thing was high school dramatizations, and then in college, and I just kept going with it. And,
Well, now you're to a point where you're not just performing plays, but you're writing them too.
yes, the last 5 plays that I've presented, for good or for ill, I can claim authorship of them. Yeah, it's an exciting process. I have a great deal of help from my wife, Nanette, who
Yes,
is...
I wanted to mention that. Nanette is very big part of the team here.
She is. She's the biggest part of it. I couldn't do it without it. Plus, she's my groupie. So, and my roadie.
And tell me, so about when did you find out that this is what you wanted to pursue as your main course?
Well, I've always enjoyed being on stage, and I waited till I had finished up my previous career, which we don't talk too much about, so that I could dedicate myself to the theater full time. And I guess I started when I was 57, and so it's been 17 years. But I started part-time back in the early 80s.
Yeah, you've done radio and you've done television too.
Yes. Nanette and I co-hosted the morning talk show out of New Jersey, WERA, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. We were opposite Imus and Howard Stern. And I don't think anybody ever heard us. And I had a 10 years long cable television show in the metropolitan area of New York also, where I just had the studio time and I did whatever I needed to do for a half an hour. Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the plays that I've seen you do? The Box, The Witness, and The Shooter.
Yes. And you saw The Secret also, I'm sure. No, maybe you haven't.
No.
I haven't done The Secret in so long. We're going to be doing it in this theater 2 weeks from yesterday, on May 4th. And the other 3 you've been a part of. You filmed the Witness for me. We set it up at Palencia, and
that is one
Jorge
power.
put the whole thing together, and it's in a box right now. And
yeah, but it is such a powerful play. I mean, the themes are redemption, forgiveness, ignorance. I mean, it goes.
Well, we got a lot of that.
Even love. I mean, it is such a full body of work that at the end, I just see people wiping tears.
Yeah.
It's very powerful. So if you haven't seen The Witness, it is, and it's, what's the basic theme of The Witness?
Well, The Witness is a fella who grew up here in St. Augustine and was part of the anti-movement for the civil rights movement. And he did all kinds of acts of thuggery, but he had a girlfriend in high school who was a very active protester, and she was with Dr. King on all the marches. But when she was out of town, he was in town doing all of the awful things that were done. Here in St. Augustine, we have a dark chapter in our wonderful city's history, and he relates all of that. So it's a love story it's a good love story, but at the end of the first act, she witnesses him do some horrible thing, and that's the end of their relationship. So it's about the civil rights movement and all that took place here with Andrew Young and with Dr. Haling and with Dr. King and so forth.
Right, right. So it's a must. It's a must to watch.
Thank you. Thank
so
you for that.
what are your projects for the future? What, do you think you'll be writing more plays?
I don't know. I've got 4 different shows in the next 5 weeks. 2 of them out of state, and 1 in South Florida and 1 here. And it's just about all we can do to keep these engagements. And I don't know if I've got another new play in me or not.
All right. And do you have classical training? Did you went to a school? Did you went to Laurence Olivier's classes of acting?
No. I've learned just by doing it.
Be a natural gifted communicator.
Well, that would be a kind way of putting it. Thank you.
Because you know, I talk a lot to the audience. And it's a lot of the audience that doesn't come up and shake your hand. You know, they watch the play and they're impacted by it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you suck the energy out of that room when you're playing.
On the
It's
shooter, may I speak?
Yes.
Well, the shooter is my wife Nanette is playing a TV impresario off stage, and she is interviewing. She's bantering with her husband, who's backstage, but she is interviewing 9 people whose lives have been drastically affected by gun violence, and I play those 9 people. And I've had people write me and come to me in person and say that they've gotten rid of the guns. They just realize, no, we just don't need those.
Right.
We're carrying them for personal protection, and we're shooting family members and with our personal protection guns and being shot by them ourselves.
It's a very powerful and sensitive issue in this country of ours, and we hope that love prevails at the end.
I do indeed. Yes.
And so, do you have any? You know, most artists have someone they admire their work. Is there anyone out there that you listen to them or see them and love their work?
I'm a big fan of Garrison Keillor. You could make a distinction between the
he does that Home Prairie Companion
He's
thing.
retired from it, the Prairie Home Companion, and I have corresponded with him a little bit, and I've blatantly copied a little bit of his style. There's a difference between a multi-character dramatization on stage and a one-person show. The one-person actor is doing a monologue, obviously, but he's telling the story. And I've admired his approach, his technique on Prairie Home Companion a great deal. And
yeah, his voice is so gentle.
Oh,
it just
yes, well,
it
right here in Lake
brings
Wobegon.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Listen, you know, we're running out of time.
Yes.
And I'd love to have you again.
Oh, I'd love to come back.
You're someone
one
could talk to.
Have I got 10 more seconds?
Yes. As a matter of fact, you have 10 more seconds. Yes.
Jorge Rivera is the greatest thing that's happened to St. Augustine. All of the artists and all of the musicians, whether you're the Limelight Theater or Emma or First Coast Opera or even small solo opera, we all are covered by him, and he gets the word out for all of the artists in St. Augustine. And I just love you for that.
That cup is for you to take home.
That's for me?
That's for you.
Oh, all right. Cheers, mate.
We'll come back after these messages with our next guest, and once again, a hand to Lee Weaver, please.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Grant Paxton. Welcome to Foxtrot Creative Studio. Let me show you what we do.
We've been in business for 3 years now. We can create different graphics for you, ads, mailers, flyers, business cards, logos, and even websites. And we're also a printing company as well. So we can create for you the design you need and then the final product. We can usually get you with a design, we can get you a brand new business card in less than 2 days.
At St. Augustine Distillery, we're part of a new generation of American craft distillers. Family owned and operated, we are committed to making the best possible spirits using local agriculture. Our distillers make everything by hand, from mashing and blending to distilling and tasting each and every batch. We distill and bottle everything we sell, making sure that the spirits are just right before barreling and aging. Bottled by real people, we love showing our guests not only what we do, but why we do it. We're passionate about educating our guests to not only what goes into each bottle, but how to make the best possible cocktails. We love St. Augustine, and thanks to your purchases, we're able to give back to the community and help local organizations each and every day.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
St. Augustine Distillery, handmade with pride in the nation's oldest city.
At Martinez & Associates, we can help you with many things. Number one is income for life throughout your retirement, which is very important. Number two would be Medicare choices, which are very confusing. Number three is a legacy for your loved ones. And finally, keeping you independent throughout retirement. My name is Tuli Martinez. Call this number y hablamos español.
All right, we're back from messages. We're here with we're back with our second guest, Moliere Dimanche II. I discovered your art by social media, and then there was someone said you had an exhibit at that time at Dos Coffee and Wine, and I went there, and wow, I was blown out of the water. And then when I heard your personal story, I said to myself, if I ever had a show, this definitely would have to be a guest. And so here you are. And your full name, sir, for the record is?
My full name is Moliere Dimanche Jr.
Junior, okay.
Yep.
All right. And where were you born, Moliere?
I was born in Bartow, Florida. It's inside of Polk County down in Central Florida.
All right.
My parents, they came here from Haiti.
Okay.
And had me here.
All right. Bingo.
I am an American, officially. That's what I say.
Isn't that a topic lately, my dear friend?
Yeah, I got paperwork, signed up, birth certificate, everything. I'm good to go.
Yes, yes. So, good. You don't have to prove us your birth certificate. But I look at your art. If I had to ask you what your art is, how would you define it? What would you say?
My art would probably, I could define it as a documentary of things that I saw, because the primary focus of the stuff that we put out at the Dose exhibit was prison art.
Right.
Okay. And
for those who don't know, you do prison art because?
I was in prison.
Okay.
Yep,
All
broke
right.
the law, so I had to go to the big house. And while I was in there, I got in touch with, the way things operate in there, the realities and, the madness, the killings and the abuse and the corruption. And I spent a lot of time in confinement myself. And what better thing to, pass the time back there than draw? I'm an artist.
Right.
I would find anything to draw on, and I would just,
And in confinement, they don't let much in there. So how did you get your supplies?
Stamps.
Stamps?
Stamps, yeah. In prison, you're allowed to send people stamps in the mail so that they can write you. And I wasn't doing too much writing, so I would barter the stamps to the confinement orderlies. I give them a book of stamps, and they'll bring me a little piece of a pencil.
Oh, wow.
Now I can draw.
Oh,
Then
wow.
I'd ask the officers for a request form or a sick call form. I'm not writing a request. I'm going to draw on the back of it, and
that's
just
blank.
pass the time, so.
It's amazing what, I've read many books of people in the gulags, people in camps, and the resourcefulness of human beings is unbelievable.
Oh man, human ingenuity is at its best in confinement.
And when you drew in confinement, what would you draw about?
Well, I had a really unusual experience when I was incarcerated. And, I had the fortune or misfortune, however you want to look at it, of being bounced around from countless different prisons. So at each prison, I pretty much drew what I saw at that particular prison. And, if I saw a murder, a senseless murder, I would find a way to depict that in the drawing. But that drawing wouldn't be based just on that one experience. It'd be that prison as a collective. And you know, if there was if I enjoyed smoking cigarettes, I find a way to put that in there too. You know, because some cigarettes, some institutions, you can have access to cigarettes.
So not everything was bleak.
No, not at all.
There was some humor, things. I mean, there are human beings in there, so I mean, it's not the great place to be.
No, it's not. And when I'm drawing, you don't want to just draw a bunch of stuff that's going to make people sad. You know, because I believe whether it's art or whether it's anything else I'm doing, you have to laugh about everything.
A little comedy relief.
That's the only way to not go crazy.
Yes, yes.
You know, that's the only way to keep your sanity. So what I was doing, you know, I would find a way to even depict horror stories in a humorous way. Way.
So here's my question: before you went to the big house, as you call it, were you exposed to art as a child? Did you draw when you were young?
Yes, I've been drawing as far back as I can remember, and the first piece of art that I can remember actually creating was when I was 4 in preschool. I drew a picture of Mike Tyson and on a green piece of paper and like pink and orange crayon. He had the gloves and everything, had the gap tooth, big head and everything. I remember exactly how that picture looked. But since I was a toddler, I just been doodling.
Wow. So before the event that took you to prison, it must have been, you must have retreated from art.
Severely. There was a time in my life where it was almost a forgotten talent. It was just something that I did not focus on at all. And you know, going to prison, you know, you got plenty of time to think about everything, you know. So it all started coming back.
Well, yeah, some men become philosophers, some men become religious, some men become very political.
Yeah,
Malcolm X was one.
As much as I hate to say it, it's the best place to attain that discipline a lot of people are missing in society. You know, because they're going to discipline you, and then if you're in the box, you can discipline yourself just by reading and focusing and meditating and making plans for things.
So once you went in, then art came back to you as a way to release what you had to say, heal you in a way, and probably help others, I guess.
Yes, and that was one of the major things, one of the major reasons why I actually got back into it was that it was lucrative in there. You know, as far as, you know, being an inmate that had money sent to him, I wasn't one of them. So I had to, you know, get it for myself.
So what would the inmates ask you to do?
For the most part, it was tattoo patterns. And the thing about the tattoo patterns, it was in sync with a lot of stuff that I do for myself. Like for my personal little documentaries, people have their own stories to tell.
Right.
You know, they want to depict a love lost or a dead relative or addiction to drugs, and I would find a way. They would tell me, man, you have a crazy imagination. Just use your imagination and put my story together.
Or a holy icon, some side?
Anything.
Virgin de la Guadalupe or something?
Exactly. It could have been anything, you know, but as long as they paid for it, I drew it, you know. So, you know, I would draw it, and the tattoo artist would put it on them. And, you know, I started learning that the tattoo artists were making more money than me, so I started learning how to do tattoos too. But, you know, it was more of a way to sustain myself in there, you know, because the feeding is horrible.
Right.
So, you know, I'm going to make sure that I can, you know, buy my food and buy my cigarettes and whatever I got to do. You know, I got to generate that income. So the more I started doing and the more intricate ideas people came with, I started testing myself and, you know, building on my talent and getting more creative with things and even doing portraits. And
wow. But maybe something you don't know out there is that Mr. Moliere Dimanche II is now an author. And I know we can get your book on Amazon, but what's the title of that book?
The title of that book is It Takes a Criminal to Know One.
Okay. And in a synopsis, if you had to give me a synopsis, because I want to bring you back just about the book, but if you had to give me a synopsis of that, what is the book about?
The book is about, I mean, I don't know if a synopsis to do it any justice because it's
hard to put in a synopsis.
It's so far reaching on everything.
But it's about prison life, is it?
It's about corruption and how the people in internal affairs who are expected to investigate and solve these problems of corruptions are the ones who are breeding it. And I managed to expose it and contend it in the crazy.
And you've opened a Pandora's box.
Yes.
So now you're in the limelight, legal, and I said yes. We'll come and
I'm
talk
ready
about it.
for
It's very, very interesting. Wow, so where now with your art? I mean, you've become really popular. I love your art. You have a clothing line.
Yes.
You know, if you go, Libet, I think is
Yes.
the website you go to.
Yeah, Libet Collection.
Which means liberty in French.
Yep.
Or in Creole.
In Creole.
In Creole, Libet, Libertad. So that's wonderful. You know, I love to, I admire you. You're an incredible story. I will have you back to talk about that book.
I appreciate it, man.
And Moliere Dimanche II. We're going to go with some messages, and we shall return with our first guest, which is Sam Pacetti. Thank you.
Over here. Over here. Over here.
What's happening?
That feeling, only better. Turbo. Standard in a 150 horsepower, fun to drive Volkswagen Jetta.
Our ingredients are mostly natural. It's palm oil, coconut oil, olive oil. We put cocoa butter, shea butter, and real silk in our soaps. Also, it's something that's pleasing to the eye and you enjoy using it. Come visit us at Antoinette's Bathhouse.
At St. Augustine Distillery, we're part of a new generation of American craft distillers. Family owned and operated, we are committed to making the best possible spirits using local agriculture. Our distillers make everything by hand, from mashing and blending to distilling and tasting each and every batch. We distill and bottle everything we sell, making sure that the spirits are just right before barreling and aging. Bottled by real people, we love showing our guests not only what we do, but why we do it. We're passionate about educating our guests to not only what goes into each bottle, but how to make the best possible cocktails. We love St. Augustine, and thanks to your purchases, we're able to give back to the community and help local organizations each and every day.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
St. Augustine Distillery, handmade with pride in the nation's oldest city.
At Martinez & Associates, we can help you with many things. Number one is income for life throughout your retirement, which is very important. Number two would be Medicare choices, which are very confusing. Number three is a legacy for your loved ones. And finally, keeping you independent throughout retirement. My name is Tuli Martinez. Call this number y hablamos español.
So we're back. And we're back with one of my favorites. Yes, we're back with Sam Pacetti. Nice to have you on the show, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. So I get a lot of people here know you and as a musician, of course, around town. So tell us, are you a native son of this region of the world?
I am. My family's been here for quite some time. They were part of the, the poor Europeans that came and settled this area, the Minorcans.
Okay.
So they've been here since the early 1700s, and I was fortunate, or perhaps unfortunate enough to be born into that group of people, and here we are.
Oh wow, wow. What's your instrument? Your main instrument? For those who don't know you.
I play the guitar. It was my first experience of subterfuge.
Okay.
So that's why the guitar.
All right. And was there music in your family growing up?
There was. My grandfather played parlor guitar, flamenco guitar. My mother played classical piano, and she stopped after a period of years and kind of let that go. And my father played bad Lefty Frizzell and Hank Williams songs, and he would chase my mother around the house, you know, with his cheap Sears and Roebuck guitar. And I was kind of the crucible in which art was born.
And so how did you come to decide that you wanted to do the guitar?
Completely accidentally. It was never intentional. I started to play guitar, but I wasn't interested. When I went to high school, was very fortunate in my 10th grade year. There was a wonderful man named Gary Piazza who had taken a position teaching. He began the first St. Augustine guitar program, and he was a young fellow, separated from us by just a few years, so he was 29 or 30. And he made a bunch of young guys fall in love with guitar. He taught us passion.
What did he expose you to?
Beauty.
With such composers as?
Rodrigo, Bach, Segovia, all of these people. And so here you had this group of totally rapscallion young men who most of them were listening to death metal and things like that. And then he brings in a Rodrigo guitar concerto, and he made it, he gave us a place to channel our energies. So and I fell in love with guitar inadvertently, and that was how I discovered the subterfuge piece where I could go for hours into another world.
Another world. And tell me, when you look at your music, and I know I bring artists here and I box them in, I mean, what would you say is your genre, if any?
That's always been a difficult question, and I don't really have a clear answer for you because I still honestly don't know. I mean, I play guitar, and there are many styles of music that I love. When someone tries to pigeonhole me, I say it's musical chameleonship. You know, we'll go from the Renaissance to the Baroque to some Scottish child ballads to folk music to rock and roll to Joni Mitchell to Dylan. If there's beauty in it and a good melody structure, I can enjoy it. And yeah.
And what would you say are artists that influenced you?
Well, the first, without question, would be Bach.
Okay.
Something very peculiar there with that composer, as a friend explained it to me when we were having a conversation one day, and he corrected me and he said, no, Bach didn't write music, the universe wrote music through Bach. An important distinction. Joni Mitchell, certainly.
Wow, Joni.
But yeah, well, I mean.
She does everything. She doesn't just play music. I think she also paints.
She paints, yeah. And now she makes more money through her painting than through her music. You know, she has a cult following. She sells for millions of dollars, literally.
Wow.
But Bob Dylan, of course, and some of the early people were these little niches of early Americana music, the music of Chet Atkins and Merle Travis, you know, which is a peculiarly American, unique form of guitar playing.
All right.
That luckily now has been, as well as everything else, exported to every other corner of the world.
Well, you know, that's, it's interesting how artists, when they start and they have a following, as soon as they sign that record label, they sold out. There ain't nobody, you know, it's like, don't ever want to see you again, you know. It's, and I always find that so strange because the talent is still there and that energy is still there. Who cares if they sell more records than they used to before? Yes, some people do compromise their talent for the money. I understand that. But I can listen to you all day. And another question I wanted for you is, I asked this also to two other musical guests I have. Do you feel that music has a healing power?
Yes.
You say that with a big smile.
Well, I'm a Platonist at heart, which is to say that I believe in the concept of the absolute. I believe that there is a source vibration to the universe. And if you look at these old traditions, and certainly coming from Pythagoras and Plato, which came from traditions far earlier, the physical universe in which we inhabit rests upon vibration and frequency. And
the chanting of the Buddhist monks is a good example.
So all of this is an attenuated frequency, and at varying levels of oscillation of the frequency, you get a different set of data. You know, so in a sense, music literally does help to fashion the world, and that's probably a little outre, but you know, something like that, sure.
And what do you see your music going to now in the future?
Oh.
You've been playing now for a while, but you're a young man still, so.
Oh, you're a kind soul. I don't know. I'm kind of taking another little hiatus.
Okay, a sabbatical kind of?
A little sabbatical, and we'll see what incubates there. I've always had a peculiar relationship with music. You know, I've never sought the spotlight, and I've always preferred anonymity. I've kind of come from the perspective that achievement is the beginning of fame, and you know.
I remember once talking to you, you said you took a trip to Ireland a long time ago, and it had such an impact, not just musically, but spiritually to you.
It changed everything. Well, I found a culture that still was fully in possession of their own cultural mythology. They hadn't lost that. You see, the old gods had not died. You know, they'd just been relegated to a little corner.
The Druids
over here,
and all that from that area.
So I got to experience that, and the culture is far different from America in so many respects, but in the first is that, you know, in America, many people, there's really no other way to say this, they have such a stunningly superficial understanding of reality or desire to penetrate. But there you have people that they're not searching for the meaning for life. They are in possession of the experience of being truly alive. Right?
Yes.
And so there's this freedom and spontaneity in those people, you know, that's just infectious. And I experienced that, and what I would dare say is elemental magic. So boy, it really lit a fire under me. So when I returned, I just thought, there's no time to muck around. Let's get down to business.
Okay.
And it did change a lot.
Interesting. Yeah, and I noticed that, you know, living in Europe for many years is that, you know, we're so consumed by our work. And they, when you talk to these people, they have all these hobbies. They're gardening, you know, which are things that we think of when we retire. No, they're actually doing it as young people. They're doing their gardening, they're playing their piano, they're taking lessons for this and that. And I find that they don't let work consume them. Work is there, it's needed, et cetera, and it's important to them. But living a life other than work is very important to them.
Precisimo.
Yes, yes, very much. You know, we're running out of time. I'd love to have you again.
Oh, it'd be an
I
honor.
mean, you, like Lee Weaver, is someone I could just talk to for ages. I thank you again, my friend. Sam Pacetti. Sam Pacetti. Would you play something for us?
I'd love to.
Okay,
certainly.
when we come back after these messages, the great Sam Pacetti will play something for us. Thank you.
Our ingredients are mostly natural. It's palm oil, coconut oil, olive oil. We put cocoa butter, shea butter, and real silk in our soaps. Also, it's something that's pleasing to the eye and you enjoy using it. Come visit us at Antoinette's Bathhouse.
Hello, I'm Grant Paxton. Welcome to Foxtrot Creative Studio. Let me show you what we do.
We've been in business for 3 years now. We can create different graphics for you, ads, mailers, flyers, business cards, logos, and even websites. And we're also a printing company as well. So we can create for you the design you need and then the final product. We can usually get you with a design, we can get you a brand new business card in less than 2 days.